Nigerians were doing that, was it just because there was crime, or it was just out of hate, or it was xenophobia? Can you explain on that?
It was not crime, because when they want you to leave their country, they will do everything possible to put every little mistake on on Ghanaians. You build someone's house. My uncle was a builder. He built someone's house, and then when he goes for the money, the person will tell you, you are Ghana. How can I give you this amount of money? You must go back home. That is where it started. It started building up. Ghanaians are taking their jobs. Meanwhile, the government told them to train their people, but when they go to the job, 1 month, 2 months, they don't come again, because that time they were rich, and you know the table always, so they were using those things to frustrate them so that they will leave. Then until they decided themselves, go straight to the government and tell them, we want the people to leave. Force them by force. The government must tell them to leave. If they don't leave, they will kill every Ghanaian. That makes the government to come out and speak. Please, for your safety reason, our people are very angry that foreigners have taken their job, Ghanaians have taken this and that, so they must go back home. So those who listened, you know, people were in the villages whereby there's no even television at that time. They didn't hear it. So the time they hear coming to the town to take cars to Ghana, then it's already bloody in the town. They are macheting, they are doing, so people run for their life. Others didn't survive. Even on the road, they rob you, they take every little thing on you. But it was sad that that time internet was not, how do you call it, was not like these days. Other than that, you will see more things. Here you find out that someone, they are fighting, they are doing their own thing, but they will bring it on TV. That is xenophobia. What is xenophobia? There's no xeno in South Africa. I've been living here for more than 15 years. All my neighbors, they love me. They know where I'm working. They know me. They know if they don't find me here, they will find me here. I've never encountered anything in my life. No one have ever insulted me in my life, because I live like a foreigner.
Sorry, what do you say about the events on 2015? 2015, what happened here in South Africa? What do you call that?
That one.
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come in.
Thank you, Nana. Sorry, Jose, I don't have more powers, and not only that, but I'm also not ready to moderate, at least for the next 15 minutes or 20 minutes or so. But ISD wants to come up. So what happened, Long John? We need to separate xenophobia, which is the fear of foreigners, and violence. You can say that there was violence which affected not only foreign nationals but also South Africans. It's the same thing that happened in 2008. It was violence. So not 2015, in fact it was 2008 and 2012, I think. Those are acts of violence done by criminals. Now, crime, unfortunately, cannot be personalized. It affected all of us, and it continues to affect all of us. In fact, South Africans are disproportionately more affected by crime committed by foreign nationals, crime committed by South Africans. We are disproportionately more affected by that type of crime. So what happened in 2008 was crime. It was horrible. It was terrible. Nobody can ever justify that. However, we cannot say that it was xenophobia. If somebody doesn't want to live in a country where there's crime, they can move to a country where there's peace. That's fine. But if you choose to come and live in South Africa, unfortunately, you will face crime. It's the same thing that Mzungus in South Africa like to say, that they are targeted farm unalivings, when the statistics show that it's only 5 farm unalivings that happen a week in South Africa. And in that 5, it includes Mzungus, it includes farm workers, it includes Indian farmers, it includes colored farmers, it includes black farmers. But because they are looking for an avenue to be oppressed, they will say that it's them, but it's not actually them. So I hope that clarifies it for you. It's just crime, it's nothing else.
And me, I'm not against South Africans, or I'm not saying they are xenophobic, but some of the things you get to know while you're being educated with some people. So, and I also feel like the way you have just highlighted it to me, I think like maybe people should be more informed and should be more educated on things like this, so that these kind of things that they cannot spill everywhere and they end up being violent, and people committing crimes over issues maybe they didn't understand properly, or they are not being educated about it properly. So
yeah, that's true. I think a lot of people have held on to this whole thing that South Africans are xenophobic. They've held on to it for dear life. It's almost like a saving grace argument for them. But when you ask them to elaborate and to support, because you can't just come to a conclusion, you have to argue for your point and then get to a conclusion. And when you get to your point, you have to convince me that your point is correct. It's the same thing when you go to court. The law is about interpretation. You have to interpret the law in a way that the judge will side with you. So a lot of people then look at this whole thing of South African xenophobia and they can't argue for it. It's like when you read the headlines of a newspaper and it says Zimbabwe unalives 500 elephants, but nobody reads the content of the newspaper to say why were those elephants unalived? Were they actually elephants unalived? Because that story was not entirely true. You know what I mean? But people just read the headline and then they say, oh my goodness, Zimbabwe is horrible. So they read the headline, South African xenophobic, and they're like, oh, South Africa is horrible. But they don't actually take time to understand exactly what is happening in terms of the crime. You can blame South Africans for being criminals. You can blame South Africans for being violent. All of this stuff you can. I can't defend them. South African men have a terrible reputation of being called GBV, because we do that, even though I haven't done it myself, but I take collective responsibility. So you can tell us that we do things, we are criminals, we are horrible people. That's fine, but don't then label us with something that is not of us or is not true of us. ISD, I can't bring you up, my brother, because I don't have mod powers. I'm just facilitating at the moment. I'm sure Hosea will I'm sure Hosea will find time to bring you up when it's free. But not only Hosea, there's other facilitators that might come, moderators, that might come onto the comment section and they'll bring you up. So stay put, because I'm looking forward to hearing your rebut what Nana was saying. I've actually also been reading up on this just this morning, just skimming through a couple of documents on Google Scholar, just to kind of find like if there's any scholars that have written something that is trustworthy and substantial that I can understand about this. And I found a few articles, but I'll wait for you to come and rebuttal Nana, and then when you rebuttal Nana, then we'll take it from there. And it's important that we bear in mind that this is well documented. Well, I say well documented loosely, but there is a couple of articles about it. There's a lot of articles on Google Scholar about it that we can find. So we are not going to be making up stories or making up things that we can't verify.
Over a teenager then when it happened, right? There was nobody attacked. I don't know where your uncle got the story from. I had the Ghanaian teachers in my school. I had Ghanaian neighbors. Nobody touched them. They left and they were even crying when they were leaving. Now, let me say what you don't know. First of all, in 1954, Ghanaians deported Nigerians in mass. In 1969, Ghanaians deported Nigerians in mass. Now, in the same 1983 that Nigeria deported Ghanaians, Ghanaians first deported Nigerians in 1983 in mass also. Then, when Nigeria had election, Shehu Shagari won. What happened was a retaliation of the constant deportation of Nigerians from Ghana by Ghanaians.
And
Nobody.
what
Can I finish? Don't jump on
I
me,
just
please.
want to also talk to you.
Nana, just let him
What were
finish.
you
No,
doing?
don't jump on me, please.
Nana,
Ghanaians
just let him finish. Nana, just let him finish, and then when he finishes, just make notes, my brother Nana. Okay, make notes. When he finishes, then you'll be able to take him on. Okay, Ice D, I'll give you an extra 3 minutes, okay, to make your submission, and then I'm gonna go to Nana.
So,
Okay.
yeah, so there was never a protest anywhere on the street. Nobody complained, nobody cried, nobody said they must go. The government retaliated based on the deportation. Ghanaians has been deporting Nigeria constantly, non-stop. I'll give you an example. During when Babangida was the head of state, he did the same to the UK. When the UK deported Nigerians from UK, what did he do? And they kept on deporting. Babangida deported the UK citizens back to Nigeria to the UK. That's what he did. So that Nigeria is like that. The government just did it on their own. So now you not say there is xenophobia because the government acted, not the people who acted. I'll give you another example. When the South African government were giving the Nigeria sending Nigerians back for coming to the country without the yellow card. What did the Goodluck Jonathan government do? The same thing. They stopped the SAA flying to South Africa and turned them back, saying they must bring proof that of HIV clearance. That's exactly what happened in 1983. Nobody protested. Nobody asked them to leave. People were crying. Nigerians were crying. We cried. You did not witness it. You were told stories your uncle told to cover up his inability to make money and come back. They were asked to leave decently. Nigerians were crying and felt bad they were leaving. There are some Ghanaians who still stayed back till today in Nigeria who did not go, and they still stayed back till they now assimilated into the to the country, into the communities. Nobody killed them, nobody unalived them, nobody attacked them. I don't know where you got that story from. And if I ask you now, go back to your history book or your archives and bring a video or even a picture of a Nigerian attacking a Ghanaian in 1983 when they asked them to leave, you won't be able to do that. You won't bring one.
Prepare to land, ISD.
Let me land here for now.
Okay. ISD, before I take you on that, are you suggesting that what you experienced around you and in your school was a reflection of the entire country? In that you are saying that the teachers in your school and the Ghanaians in your community were not chased out. Is that a reflection of what happened in the entire country?
Yes, it was a reflection of what happened in the entire country. No Ghanaian was touched. I repeat again, no Ghanaian was touched. They were not touched. Nobody attacked them. Nobody looted their property, or nobody threw them out of the house.
Okay, hold on 1 second.
That's why they were allowed to take their things, put it in a van, and leave peacefully.
Okay,
nobody attacked them.
Okay, ISD, that's not entirely true. I am going to demonstrate to you why it's not entirely true after Nana speaks. Nana, go ahead.
Yeah, when he's talking about Ghana deported Nigerians those times, let me give you a fact on that. I've read about it, and books don't lie. The Nigerians, when they found out that the economy was going down, they flocked into Ghana. Look at a tiny Ghana country. Like, at that time, we were like 10 million population. And that time, Nigeria was more than us. They came. Now crime was eating us because we know ourselves. Now, when they flock into Ghana,
currency that they call the aura, you know, you can't even spend the rand in Orania. You have to convert the rand to the aura, which is pegged to the rand. Actually, 1 rand equals to 1 aura, but they would rather come here and tell us our country is divided. You have a mini functioning state within your state, but you come out here to talk about Biafra this, Biafra that. It's staggering. It's just jarring. Let's talk about Cape Independence as well. Cape Independence, you wouldn't talk about that. You want to come talk about Biafra. it's just ridiculous. I guess my point is, Nigerians, don't let these people come here to call you criminals. They are in fact the biggest criminals on the continent, and the data backs it up. There are ample evidence, articles, crime statistics that shows this. I was listening to the quarterly report for the second quarter for crime rate in the country. Unaliving of women and children went up. Kidnapping of women and children went up in the country. But they want to come here and talk about Biafra this, Biafra that. It's not intellectually sustainable to stay here and listen to these people that have a national pass rate of 30%.
Sovereignty, excuse me, but why are you allowing these people to come here? Who is the moderator? Why not they allow these kind of people to come and put pounds here? These South African people, then why are they even allowed here at all?
I mean, let's just keep the panel open, and we're here to educate them. Obviously, we won't allow certain
they're not supposed to. They're not supposed to be here. Educate them for what? They're supposed to be here. I beg you.
All right, Sovereign, please continue.
Yeah, basically, that is just my submission. We must be careful. We must know our facts. We must know these things. We must educate ourselves on these people so that we don't buy into their propaganda. They are criminals. They are the real criminals here on this panel. So for them to come here and call Nigerians criminals, Nigerians peddling crime and whatnot, that argument is not old water. That argument makes no sense. We must take them for who they are, criminals. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. I think, who is next? I think it's Coach and then King and then Ancestors. Coach Ade, how far?
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm okay. Thank you very much. I love the topic and I'm enjoying the conversation. A group of clowns in Finland decided to declare a country while they were in Finland. Why are you people even giving them any audience? Have they moved to Biafra, the so-called Biafra state? No. Do they have a currency that they are spending in the Biafra state? No. Do they have geographical territory? All the countries they are claiming that they are part of them, say they are not part of them, they should go and rest. No. Do they even know the map of that Biafra? No. Just a community of jobless people in Finland that are dependent on Finnish government money. I think they got drunk on palm wine one day and decided to come online and say, no, we have declared, and you people are talking about them. Something that you are supposed to be using as comedy skit. Like, seriously. Do they have Biafra military in Biafra? No. Do they have a passport? No. Have they moved there? No. So what is all this that we're even discussing? By discussing it, you're even giving them credibility, honestly. The only thing they can do is go on social media and be calling Nigeria a zoo. After that, the moment they rise up and say we want Biafra, government shuts them down, they start crime marginalization. Do we even have time for such people? I'm so surprised you are taking them serious and you're actually even talking about it. These people that they've never put anything in place for statehood, they don't have. There's a South African guy staying in his shack without toilet, without anything. Corrugated iron, just put like 4 or 5 corrugated iron together and a roof on top of a stone somewhere. The only thing he has is internet, which he bought with his 350 rands, part of it. The 350, he has received it today, or yesterday. It's going to finish by the night, then you look for stores to loot. Now, those people feel so insignificant that they feel marginalized in their own country. They know they don't own the means of production, they don't own land, they don't own anything. So the only time they feel important is when they banter with the giants of Africa. You see, like Van Persie now, for example, when he insults Nigeria on social media, he's going to go home and say, I've spoken to Nigerians today, I've insulted them, yeah, I'm great, I've achieved, I have made it in life. Those are the kind of people we're arguing with. In fact, allowing them to argue with us, we are actually undermining ourselves. We are not claiming our territory as Nigerians. They don't even have the wherewithal, they don't have the mental capacity, they don't have the wits, they don't have the intellect, they don't have the pass rate, 30% pass, arguing with me. a child psychologist, an education specialist, retired, that has visited more than 30 countries, 26 of which are in Africa. Why would I argue with somebody that stays on a mountain in Dualini that has built two iron or two roofing sheets together and turned into a house that doesn't have a toilet? Now, I as a person must argue with that person on social media. So whenever they come here, they're just showing you that, oh, we also want to compete with you. You think you are the giant. We have insulted the giant. Hey, they go home and they are celebrating. Those are the kind of people we are dealing with here. So, like, I have made up my mind here. I'll still be pushing my content about South Africa and South African news because they can't interfere in our affairs and we don't interfere in theirs. Because I know them very well, they're my people. So at the end of the day,
Okay, Coach Ade,